Hello, superhumans. Well, get your popcorn or your favorite snack as we get into our first history mystery. We are looking into Amy Dudley, who was the daughter of a wealthy Norfolk landowner and wife of Robert Dudley, Queen Elizabeth I's statesman and first Earl of Leicester. They married in 1550 when they were about 18. Young King Edward VI, son of Henry VIII, was present at their wedding. Had all been well during their decade-long marriage, or was there something more mysterious afoot? In those days, people married for wealth and power, yet her contemporaries claimed it was a carnal marriage. This is a story of sex, political power, jealousy, money, and mystery. Robert, being the son of the Duke of Northumberland, was already an influential man who understood Amy could enhance his power in Norfolk. Amy essentially, as with most women of her rank, became a pawn in a greater game. Shortly after she married, Amy's parents died. Her father in 1554 and her mother not long after, making Amy the sole owner of her father's estates. Complications with the inheritance, combined with the estate's poor condition, caused Amy and Robert to live elsewhere, in the home of William Cecil as well as many others through the years. In 1553, Robert's father, John Dudley, and brother Guilford were found guilty of treason under Queen Mary for backing Lady Jane Grey to become queen. They were placed in the Tower and executed. This left Robert in a precarious position, which he sought to rehabilitate in 1557 with a bid for favor by offering his services in the Italian War to King Philip II of Spain and England. In this, he could demonstrate his loyalty and military prowess. Robert and Amy, two young lovers, had been separated by circumstances for most of their marriage. This was to continue following his military service. Dudley was successful in his bid to return to court. There, he was good friends with Princess Elizabeth. Within a year, Elizabeth became queen, and Dudley, her favorite, was promoted to Master of the Horse. Rumors abounded they were lovers. Speculation began. Would he divorce his wife? In December 1559, Amy moved to Cumnor Place, the home of Sir Anthony Forster, High Sheriff of Oxfordshire. On September 8th, 1560, at only 28 years old, she was found dead at the foot of a staircase. How had Amy come to the bottom of the High Sheriff's staircase, lifeless? Where was the High Sheriff on this day? At the time, there was conjecture as to whether she fell accidentally or worse, murdered, which eventually brought to question, was the Queen complicit? To make matters more suspicious, the record of the coroner's inquest into Amy's death disappeared. Eventually, speculation arose that she just committed suicide. Robert had been informed of her death the next day. He immediately sent his steward, Thomas Blount, to investigate. The day of her demise, Amy had forcibly sent the house staff away to spend a day at a fair. When the staff returned, they found her dead. Blount reported Amy's maid claimed her lady had been acting peculiar. Blount continued his assessment by recording he found Amy to be a woman in a strange mind a few days leading to her death. Also, though not in the report, there was a rumor she'd received a letter the day before she ordered everyone out. If true, who had the letter come from? Was it just a rumor, or was there an actual letter which Amy destroyed? Eventually, in the news of the day, The coroner's inquest found her death was a tragic accident. Dudley spent a large sum of money on her funeral and wore mourning attire for 6 months, as was custom. He attended her funeral, but not her burial. His contemporaries found this odd, and in due time, his leaving early would build speculation. And much like today, the rumors of foul play do not end with the coroner's inquest finding her demise accidental. And the pressure began to build on Dudley. Enter William Cecil, Queen Elizabeth's secretary, who by this time was no fan of Dudley. Cecil knew of his queen's fondness of Dudley and was concerned over Dudley's new freedom to remarry. Cecil, fearing reduction of his own power, worried Dudley's ascendancy to king consort was only a matter of time. Even though Cecil felt Dudley was innocent of murdering his wife, he fed rumors of Dudley's guilt to both English and foreign courts. This was becoming a worldwide conspiracy and scandalous gossip. In time, everyone clearly saw Dudley's aspirations to king consort. And so, broken heart as Elizabeth was to let go of the man she adored, it became necessary. It was politically dangerous to keep him. Queen Elizabeth sent Dudley to the countryside for a period of time. However, it's important to note that this separation was temporary and Dudley eventually returned to the Queen's favor. Still, Dudley faced scrutiny and suspicion for the remainder of his days. But at least Cecil had averted any possibility of Dudley marrying his queen. Early in the 1560s, more of Dudley's enemies emerged, stoking numerous rumors of sinister murder plots, including plots against Elizabeth. The Queen did dismiss them and remain close to Dudley for the rest of his life. Generations to come continued to debate, was Amy's death a suicide, murder, or just an accident? 2008, the coroner's report, which had gone missing, was found in the National Archives. It clearly states that Amy's death could have resulted from any of the three. Amy was found at the base of a short staircase, her neck broken and 2 wounds to her head. Yet her headdress was still on, perfectly positioned. How had it not come off during the fall? With head wounds, why was there no sign of blood inside the headpiece? Further, to counter the suicide theory, she had ordered a new dress to be made, which had yet to come. To add to the mystery, no mention was made of the whereabouts of High Sheriff Anthony Forster on the day Amy died. This led many future armchair sleuths to believe he could have been involved or he was just there to clean up. It was clear she had become anxious just a day or so before her death and had been angered by those she ordered to leave would hesitate to go. Was it possible she was receiving a secret visitor? Was the secret visitor of such great importance that it was necessary to order everyone out? The U.S. government, under the Department of Defense Intelligence Agency, created a top-secret program called Stargate in 1970s. The term psychic spy loosely defines the core of their function. This is a scientific protocol which combines psychic phenomena and is used in intelligence gathering for military applications. Associated remote viewing stems from this protocol. This is the technique I apply, or in layman's terms, I'm reading the Akashic Records. Often when I do this, I discover what I find does not always align with my expectations, and this was no exception. Amy was easy to connect with, and I was allowed access to her records with ease. She showed me there was indeed a man who had sent her a letter. He demanded an audience, or he would cause great damage to her and her husband. He announced he would be there the next day and wanted everyone away from the home. She sensed danger, yet how could she refuse? She burned the letter per his instructions. After it hit the flames, she knew she had made a mistake. If she were to come to harm, perhaps the letter would point to the perpetrator. She questioned herself. Should she leave a note in case something happened? She decided no. The evidence was lost in the flames. She became frustrated with one of her ladies when she hesitated to go to the fair. When I asked if the woman's name was Mrs. Odingsells, the name given to us by novelist Sir Walter Scott, she answered with a firm no. She did indeed have a lady who thought it ill-advised to be left alone in the manor. Amy agreed, but worried further. If she did not follow his instructions exactly, darkness would fall upon them. What did this man want? Played over and over in her mind, robbing her of a full night's sleep. Would he kidnap her for ransom? Or was he working for someone who wanted her dead? The next morning, she could not eat. It took forever for the servants to leave for the fair, and this nightmare was dragging on far too slowly. When the servants left, she felt completely vulnerable. Fear gripped so tightly she struggled to breathe. From an upstairs window, she could see the man approach the manor. Heart in her throat, she moved to the stairs, and as she took her first step, her right toe caught in the hem of her skirt, and she fell down the steps and was dead before she hit the bottom. From outside her body, she witnessed the man enter the home when no one would answer the door. He found her body at the bottom of the staircase. Her headdress had come off during the fall. Panicked, he picked it up and placed it back on her head, and then realized what he was doing. What if someone walked in on him holding her body, adjusting her garments? He would be blamed for her death, and he fled. So, what was the motive for this man's visit? The reason shown was to secure a position of power in the court. His efforts had fallen on deaf ears, and he wanted to make sure his ambition was clearly and immediately delivered. What other unsolved historical mysteries might be answered by accessing information through associated remote viewing or otherwise looking into the Akashic records? I invite you, let's find out. And if there's a mystery you would like to know more about, leave a comment below. For now, please like and share, and until next time, I'm Sally Knopp. Thank you for listening.